Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk with you about being sensitive in a critical world. It's very likely that if you're struggling with all the critical stuff going on in the world, here in social media, we see a lot of it, don't we? That tendency to get in there and just really criticize people, in my opinion, unnecessarily. If you're struggling with that, it may be that you're sensitive or empathic. And in my last video, I suggested a few ways you might be able to tell if you are sensitive or empathic. And I've got a few more for you. So check out these questions, see if you relate. Do you easily pick up other people's emotions or physical experiences? Do you feel deeply affected by negative news? Are you hearing other people's thoughts? Do you sense the story that people aren't telling you? Do you feel safer around animals than people? Perhaps you see what other people don't recognize about themselves. Do you become easily overwhelmed by others' intense thoughts or feelings? If any of those seem like you, then you are probably sensitive and empathic. It's hard to be sensitive when you live in a critical world because, as you know, you can too easily pick up that negative stuff. We often end up developing too much empathy for the pain and not enough empathy for the love and joy. When you hear your critical or blaming voice talking to yourself or someone else, it's a cue to tune into your empathy. Being critical may have become a coping mechanism you developed as a kid for times when things were painful. So let me explain. If you grew up in environments where criticism was equated with love, for example, you may have learned that being stern with yourself and others was the best way to create changes toward more positive behavior. So when the pain is intense, you might find yourself trying to scold the source of the pain right out of you. But trying to shame yourself into creating more positive outcomes really doesn't work very well, does it? As a coping mechanism, have you noticed how when you feel significant pain, perhaps your critical voice goes into hyperdrive? And have you noticed how that voice has a tendency to go around and around in circles, rehashing all the pains and injustices of the past? Yeah. Continuing to talk or think from that critical place means this: you're trying to cope with the pain. But all the while, you're actually reinforcing the pain by focusing on it. As you probably discovered, ultimately you don't heal, and you end up feeling even more miserable. I know. I spent years empathizing with my anger, my sorrow, and despair, and was almost hopelessly stuck. The key is to shift the direction of your empathy. I've got an article for you where I share 4 tips for refocusing your empathy out of the pain and into love. It's called Being Sensitive in a Critical World. I hope you'll read it and share a comment below about what you've learned for transforming your critical voice into a positive one.